What is up, everybody? It's your boy Shazwiyt, and welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me yet again, and thank you so much for your continued support. If you're new to this channel and you are clicking on me for the very first time, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and also turn on that post notification button so that you get notified every time I upload a video. With that being said, let's get straight into today's content. Ooh, okay. So, I hope everybody's doing well. I wanted to start this week off with a video and get the vibes right. As you can tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on Billboard's list of greatest rappers of all time. Top 10 to be specific. Billboard's opinion of who, emphasis on opinion, of who are the top 10 best rappers of all time. So for those of you who don't know what Billboard is a music catalog magazine that pretty much keeps track of which songs are number one, which albums are number one, pretty much everything to do with music and numbers, Billboard keeps track of. They also keep track of music events, keep track of music gossip, pretty much everything that has to do with music. They keep up with the charts, news, videos, photos, business, newsletters, all that stuff. And it's been that way for the past 60 years now, since it came out like in 1958, and Billboard has been the music magazine of the United States, since then. So obviously people would care about Billboard's opinion on who they think are the best at anything, since they're the ones who keep track of who are the best. But then at the end of the day, they don't really track things based off of quality, they just track it based off of quantity. So when it comes to who they publish has the best song or has the top album in the country, it's not based off of the fact that they think this deserves more than this. It's literally those are the numbers that came out that week. So you can't really get pissed off at Billboard if you're upset that a certain artist you like isn't getting the credit they deserve, because it's literally down to numbers at the end of the day. So when you look at lists like this, you have to keep those factors in mind. And also Billboard, since it keeps track of what's happening in music throughout all generations, there are obviously a lot of young people work there. I'm guessing that at the magazine, it has a lot of millennials, a lot of Gen Z people around my age who are working there. So probably when they put this list together, those opinions are probably factored in as well. But anyway, let's react, and let me read this list to you guys, and then we can talk about it afterwards. So when this article was published, which by the way was published on November 12th, 2015, it got a lot of attention. It was very controversial. It got people riled up, not because of the people that were on the list. No. It was because of the people that were left off the list. In particular, one huge rapper was left off this list, and people are really pissed about that. But before I tell you guys who it is, let me read to you guys who's actually on this list first. I'll also display a picture of the rapper as I read their name, so that you guys don't lose track. So I will go in ascending order from number 10 to number 1. At number 10, we have Lil Wayne, okay? Weezy, got Lil Wayne. At number 9, we have Kendrick Lamar, okay? K-Dot. At number 8, we have Ghostface Killah, okay? For those of you who don't know him, he was in the Wu-Tang Clan, which is arguably the best hip-hop group of all time. Actually, there's no argument. They literally are the best hip-hop group ever. Legendary. So Ghostface Killah. At number 7 is Lauryn Hill. Okay, Lauryn Hill, who's mostly known for being an R&B pop singer, like mostly for her singing, but she's also a phenomenal lyricist. At number 6 is Andre 3000. You'll probably know him from, he even used to have his own cartoon on Cartoon Network called Class of 3000. He, for many years, was part of the hip-hop group Outkast with Big Boy, so that was his main famous thing. You should go and listen to his music if you haven't. He's really good. Great lyricist. At number 5 is Nas. At number 4 is Rakim. Rakim. Yeah, Rakim. At number 3 is Eminem. It's Eminem. At number 2 is Jay-Z. Okay. And at number 1, drum roll please, is Notorious B.I.G. Okay? It's B.I.G. Now, that is the list. Okay? That is the list. And so what do I think about this list? So people really pissed off about this list. Also pleased, but also pissed off about this list because of the fact that Tupac was left off of this list. He is the big rapper who people were upset wasn't included. Now the thing with Tupac is that Billboard apparently had a reason as to why they left him off the list. Because as you read the article, in the first paragraph of it, before they published the names of the people they chose for this article, they gave a bit of a description as to why they chose the people that they chose. So they said that diehard fans, music nerds, and critics love lists. But in rap, rankings like this take on a special level of import. Aside from moving a crowd, shouts to rock him, MC means proving you're the best. In no other genre do artists so blatantly express their desire to outdo competition. That made Billboard's editorial list a more high-stakes undertaking than usual. Many favorites, Kane, Drake, KRS, didn't make it, and each of those omissions hurts deep down. Note, we're ranking these folks as MCs, not artists. That's why Dr. Dre and Kanye West, for example, two legendary producer rappers who don't match the mic skills of those listed here, were not included on the list. Sorry about that, guys. For some reason the webpage crashed. I think it's because it's so old. But basically, yeah, they said that's why Dr. Dre and Kanye West, for example, two legendary producer rappers who don't match the mic skills of those listed here, were left out. Even Tupac, perhaps the most influential rapper ever globally, is arguably known more for great songwriting than for dominant bars. So that's what they said. So after reading this, and after seeing a video where some people also talking about this list, it made sense more. Like the part that definitely made sense was Dr. Dre and Kanye West. Dr. Dre and Kanye West, I wouldn't put them in my list either, especially Dr. Dre. I've never really known him as to be like a great rapper or with great bars or being a lyricist or whatever. I think he is, you know, what he's done best is being a producer and, you know, the whole business mogul thing. But if we're talking purely just about your ability as a rapper, I definitely wouldn't put him on the list. But I do acknowledge his, you know, his impact in the music world. And lots of artists have made their own kind of impacts. He made impacts when it came to the rise of West Coast G-Funk in the 90s. That was his thing, you know, being in NWA and all this other stuff. You know, that was him. And then you have Kanye West, who also is a great rapper, you know. He's done well. I love especially like his older music. Now I'm not really into his music that much, and also because he has a big mouth and he says lots of stupid things, it's kind of distracting. But yeah, he has some stuff, but I definitely wouldn't put him in my top 10. But in regards to who, you know, the people on this list, I think every single person on this list deserves to be in this list. In terms of what number they are, I don't really care. You know, I think just being in the top 10 in general is incredible. But yeah, I think these rankings make sense. You know what I mean? You know, if I look at Lil Wayne, most definitely deserves to be on this list because he represented hip-hop and was the hip-hop artist for a certain period of time where a lot of people thought hip-hop was dead. Especially like in 2008, 2009, 2010, maybe 2007, 6, like between those years, maybe from like 2006, 7 to like 2010 or 11, Lil Wayne was like literally like the top rapper in the world. Like, you couldn't listen to a song with a big hip hop song without Lil Wayne featured on it. He has collaborated with so many artists and has opened doors for so many of, like, well, I wouldn't say for so many, but for quite a few like artists who we still listen to a lot today. Like, if it wasn't for Lil Wayne, we wouldn't have Drake or Nicki Minaj, who are two of the biggest rappers right now and have been the biggest rappers in the world, like, for the past decade or something. So clearly this man has made a lot of impact. But since this list is basically talking about your ability as a rapper, purely you rapper, it doesn't matter whether you sold 100 million records or 2, it's literally about your ability as a rapper. Lil Wayne deserves to be on this list, no question. Clever wordplay, has versatile flow, incredible person. Yeah, he deserves to be on this list. So yes, stamp of approval. Kendrick Lamar, no question. I don't, Kendrick is, I feel like he's truly the voice of our generation, especially for millennials and Generation Z people. He's someone who is very inspiring. Even if you aren't someone who grew up in Compton or grew up in, let's say, certain circumstances that he went through, you can still relate to his music and it can still speak to your soul. He's someone who is very much about the music and is someone who definitely meditates upon the things that he says and speaks from the heart. His lyricism is incredible. It's probably the best lyricist out today. It's very well thought out. It's very deep. It's very intelligent. You can tell this person is very observant about what he says and about what he does, and just his lyrical techniques and how he blends what he says with themes in his album. And he's put out like classics already, in my opinion. Like, to remember Butterfly and Good Kid Mad City are his like classic album. So yeah, without a doubt, stamp of approval. Like, yes, he definitely deserves to be on this list. Like, if there was at least one person from like the 2010s, from this past decade who deserves to be on this list, he is the one. Okay. So at number 8 was Ghostface Killer. Ghostface, I haven't listened to a lot of Wu-Tang music. I've listened to probably a few songs, but they're definitely the top hip hop group of all time. And Ghostface Killer, there's really nothing to say. I haven't listened to much of his music or Wu-Tang, but I clearly know that he definitely deserves to be on this list and has done a lot. And people might say, oh, but you haven't even listened to his music. Why are you even agreeing? Because just because I know he was someone who, it's not even just about influence. I know he's a great rapper. I know he was a great MC, and he's someone who a lot of people talk about. And by the way, I'm not a hip-hop expert in the least. I wasn't always into hip-hop music, or I haven't really followed it that much. There's still a lot of music I need to listen to, so, but yeah, I definitely agree. Ghostface definitely deserves to be on this list, no question. No argument about that. Yeah. So then at number 7 is Lauryn Hill. So this one is pretty controversial. If I were to make a change to this list and take someone off this list, I think she would be the only person I would take off. And hold on, before y'all come for me, okay, before you guys come for me, this is why I say this. The reason why I say this is because I feel like Lauryn Hill hasn't put out enough of a catalog of music, enough bodies of work for her to be put on this list and for others to be left out of it. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to female, rap music. I feel like there are other, like the only female artist who, and this is my opinion, who could replace Lauryn Hill on this list would definitely be Nicki Minaj. And I'm not saying that these lists should have a place for women or a place for men or whatever, no, but it's because genuinely Nicki Minaj deserves to be on this list, because I think she's the greatest, not only female lyricist, but one of the best rappers of all time. I definitely put her above most rappers out there. In my opinion, I actually put her on the same level, or almost the same level as Kendrick. She is incredible. She has clever wordplay. She truly is Lil Wayne's protege, and she has continued to be relevant and a force in hip-hop music for 10 plus years. You can't deny her influence. You just can't deny. She's incredible. But in terms of Lauryn Hill, she definitely deserves to be on this list, and I think she is like a better lyricist than Nicki Minaj. Like her album Miseducation of Lauryn Hill was an instant classic. People still talk about this album 21 years later. It came out the year I was born, by the way. But I just feel like I wish she put out more music, you know, and I get that she doesn't feel inspired or she has her reasons, but I just feel like it's a little unfair to put her on this list when she's only, you know, put out one solo album and has worked on like, you know, a few albums with the Fugees. But yeah, because she's mostly known like for the singing and not necessarily the rapping. But she got bars though. But anyway, that's just my opinion. And then Andre 3000. Andre definitely deserves to be on this list. He's incredible. I definitely grew up listening to Outkast. Haven't listened to a lot of their music, but definitely quite a few. I love his song. Hey, like, you know, he has a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say, and I think Andre should always stay on this list because we need representation on this list, because on any hip-hop list you're always going to have multiple East Coast rappers, especially from New York or surrounding areas. So the great thing about having Andre on this list is that he represents the South. He's from Atlanta. I love Atlanta. I go to Atlanta all the time. So it's great to have that representation on this list. He and Outkast, him and Big Boy are the only, along with Lauryn Hill, are the only rappers to ever win Album of the Year at the Grammys. So clearly, just launching that feat alone gives him that deserving, you know. Anyway, no. But this is not about commercial success. This is purely about the art form, about his ability as a rapper. Okay, he deserves to be on this list. I approve. Lauryn Hill, I approve as well, but I think she's replaceable as well, because I personally think that, you know, that people have put more work in over the years, you know, like Nicki, come on. Anyway, my opinion. Nas. I mean, what can I say? Nas has commonly been known as probably the best lyricist of all time. His album Illmatic, which came out in 1994, is widely seen as the best hip-hop album ever, seen as flawless. He defeated none other than Jay-Z, the best rap war of all time, with perhaps the most scathing diss track of all time called Ether, which I guess is why Remy Ma called her diss track to Nicki Sheether in honor of Nas Ether. So it's yeah, Nas, I've always loved Nas. He's incredibly intelligent. I feel like Kendrick Lamar is this generation's Nas. Like, he's so intelligent and incredible lyricist, and as you've heard, Illmatic is considered probably the best hip-hop album of all time. So there's no question there. You know, Nas is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the New York in him, but like New York rappers have this thing about the way they're just so real and just so authentic and grimy and hardcore. Like the technique, man. I mean, it is the birthplace of hip hop, so not surprised. You know, that's, you know, I mean, even if you look at today, like with female rappers, you got Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, Lil Kim, all of them from New York. It's incredible. Anyway, so at number 4, Rakim. Rakim, I've heard a lot about him, that he's incredible. Even my favorite rapper, you know, A$AP Rocky is named after Rakim. So yeah, I love him. Like A$AP, Kendrick, Nicki, like all my favorite rappers equal. Like, I love them. So yeah, no debate there. I approve, obviously. You know, I haven't listened to him that much. I haven't listened to much of his songs. He was someone who was more popular when hip-hop was really coming up commercially, especially like in the 80s, the late 80s and all that stuff, in the 90s. So obviously I didn't really grow up with his music, but I'll definitely listen to it. But yeah, no argument there. At number 3, Eminem. Eminem, this is also another one. Growing up, I wasn't really a fan of Eminem. There are a few songs I liked by Slim Shady. I'm Slim Shady, you're not the if you're the Slim Shady, then please stand up. Yeah, but I was never really much of a fan of Eminem. Also because I just wasn't ever really into his style of rapping. It just didn't really sit well with me. But I do recognize his influence and that he is an incredible mic. You know, he's incredible at the mic, and you know, he's super fast and he's got his techniques down. And you know, I also appreciate the fact that, you know, with hip hop being a black dominated genre, you know, created by black people for the culture for black people, it's, you know, I also give him credit for being able to break barriers and really be a force within that world. And it's really paid off because commercially, and I know this is nothing to do with, it doesn't matter how many records you sold, it's only about your ability. But he sold like 200 million records or so, you know, and no other like rappers even sold that much. That's more than a lot of artists in general have even sold. So that just shows how much of an influence he is. But that shouldn't be mistaken for actual, you know, lyrical ability. Doesn't matter how much you've sold, it's about how you've made your mark. Are you actually good at this? Like, how good are you actually at this? But it is kind of weird to put him above, you know, Nas. I expected Nas to be higher on this list, honestly. But anyway, that's why I said that. Do I like this list? I guess so, yeah. But do I agree with the specific rankings? I could mix it up a little. But anyway, don't really matter. Then at number 2, Jay-Z. Jay-Z, obviously, you know, like, incredible rapper, lyricist. His lyricism has always been very braggadocious. He's someone who was a hustler before he was a rapper, so his music has you know, has a lot to do with hustling and, you know, and just being very braggadocious. And he's got this swag and charisma that he has, you know, that quite a few, you know, New York rappers have. Like, just, he, you know, he has his own unique sound, and he's got quite a lot of songs that I love to, you know, especially his last album, 444, was amazing. It was actually the first, you know, album by his that I fully listened to and enjoyed. But I've enjoyed a lot of his other music in the past, like from Blueprint 3. I remember my brother went through a phase listening to that, and I like memorized some of the songs too because he loved them. And yeah, Jay-Z, no question, deserves to be on this list. Yeah, of course, I approve. You know, no question. You know, when I think of rap music, especially New York, you know, I do think of Jay-Z. He's definitely up there. First, I think B.I.G., then I think Jay-Z. You know, here, like B.I.G., Jay-Z, Nas, yeah, sold. Then the first one, obviously, B.I.G. B.I.G., no question. Even though he literally like only released like 2 like albums that like Ready to Die and, you know, Life After Death, the fact that he's still being talked about, is still seen as like the number 1 rapper, like, or one of like the top rappers, clearly shows like just how much of like how incredible he was, you know, at his craft. And I guess since he didn't put out that much of a body of work, and I feel like he deserves to be on this list, we should leave Lauryn Hill on this list as well, because it would make me hypocritical. Because Lauryn Hill did put out that much music, as I said before, but she's still on this list too, so it's like, it's fine, it's fine. But I love B.I.G., you know, not really much to say. I haven't listened to that much of his music as well, just like I haven't with quite a few artists on this list. It clearly shows that I need to listen to more of this music, and, you know, I will definitely do music reviews of, you know, certain albums, legendary albums or songs that have been recommended, that people talk about, that have definitely made huge markings in hip-hop and in music in general. So yeah, definitely B.I.G., I salute you, may blessed soul rest in peace. Incredible rapper, incredible MC, someone who has influenced so many, who literally, he is hip-hop. Like, yeah, it's just sad that his life along with Tupac's life were taken so early due to this, stupid, idiotic, nonsensical East Coast, West Coast rap. Just be yourself and represent where you come from, and don't focus on diss tracks and all that stuff. I mean, it can be entertaining, but really, it should all be about uplifting the culture and pushing hip hop, to where it needs to be, and and making sure that each generation of rappers are, given the tools and, to like basically not forget where it came from. Because when hip hop started in New York in 1917, like when it was coming up, like it was literally just young people, teenagers, people in their 20s, whatever, young people on the streets who were literally, putting rhythm into their poetry and like talking about what they saw, talking about all these drugs and all of these things that they saw. And many people caught on to it and are like, we should make this a whole new genre of music. And now hip hop music is officially the top genre in the US, like commercially it's doing well. So yeah. So that's how I basically feel about this list. I would say overall I basically do agree with it, because I do agree that pretty much every rapper on this list deserves to be there. Doesn't mean that necessarily I like every single rapper on this list. Not really, as I've said before, and I've never been a fan of Eminem, to be honest. I'm not saying I don't like his music, I've just never been into it. It's just not for me. I guess I could say I don't really like it, or a majority of it. Ghostface Killer, I need to listen to more of his music. I have listened to a few Wu-Tang, so I definitely need to do that. But otherwise, I love every single other person on this list. I need to listen to more. Definitely expect me to review Illmatic. Like, that is a must. Like, that is a lead. Anyway, guys, I don't want to drag this video along and go on to further. Thank you for joining me yet again. Please stay tuned for the very next video. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please share your opinions in the comments below and tell me what you think about this list. I will put the link in the description. Please be sure to share the channel if you want to. And with that being said, Shazwiyt gang, I'm clear.